A hard day's night at Abbey Road and a unique event now on BBC4. 50 years since the epic recording of the Beatles' Please Please Me. Artists from Graham Coxon and Beverly Knight to Squeeze and the Stereophonics get together with those who were there to remake a classic.
On the morning of February 11th, 1963, Abbey Road studio engineer Richard Langham was unloading sound gear for a young band he didn't know much about. He soon discovered that there was something rather different about them.
Put the speakers on the stands. It was very interesting because at the back there were these pieces of paper lying around, you see, like confetti almost. Picked a couple up, dusted them down and opened them. And they were actually song titles written on pieces of paper. Girls had thrown up onto the stage saying, you know, please play this, you know, and here's my phone number.
I'm Ringo and I play the drums.
Well, I'm Paul and I play the bass. I'm George and I play a guitar.
I'm John and I too play a guitar. Sometimes I play the fool.
12 hours later, those four young men emerged having made musical history and one of the most significant and groundbreaking albums of all time.
One, two, three, five!
With its iconic cover and songs such as I Saw Her Standing There and Twist and Shout, Please Please Me was the album that introduced the Beatles to the world. It was #1 for 30 weeks until it was replaced by the Beatles' second album.
It was the nearest thing to trying to capture us live, you know, as we might have sounded in Hamburg or Liverpool.
Do you want to know a secret? Track 2, take 8.
Should we just do it on the second verse? Listen, do you want to know a secret?
In honour of the Beatles' speed and brilliance and sheer effrontery, we've assembled 11 top artists here in Studio 2 of Abbey Road to recreate the recording of Please Please Me. They'll perform the tracks in the same order and at the same time in the day. The songs will go out live on Radio 2, so the artists have just one take to get it right. And we're going to take you through the Beatles' day, hour by hour.
I do think people who don't like the Beatles are very weird.
And they were tough, they were funny.
They caught like one moment in one time.
Yeah.
And it's got such a... it's great.
I mean, you often get the hairs on the back of your neck moment every now and again. I've had it about 15 times the last time.
We were told, don't get too close to these people. You know, his long hair, everything else.
The last song nearly killed me.
I mean, it just ripped the place apart. It was unbelievable.
The Beatles came to Abbey Road to record Please Please Me in the middle of a tour with Helen Shapiro. John Lennon had a stinking cold, and so, armed with a packet of throat sweets and a packet of fags on the top of the piano, they got stuck in. The first song they recorded was There's a Place, an introspective piece written by Lennon only a few months before.
There's a place where I can go.
First in the studio and getting ready to tackle the song is Gabrielle Aplin. Only 20, she's already had a #1 with The Power of Love.
Grand.
Should we try it from the beginning?
Yes, I'm so glad you're here.
Chris Evans is about to introduce Gabrielle live on Radio 2.
So coming to Chris in about 15 seconds.
Say good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yeah, wish all the listeners could be here. This is so special what's going to happen here now.
Well, you're building it beautifully for us, Chris. You're giving us the picture perfectly. Are you ready, Gabrielle? Yeah?
I'm ready.
OK.
There's a place where I can go when I feel low, when I feel blue, and it's my mind, and there's no time when I'm alone. I think of you, the things you do, sorrow. Don't you know that it's so? There'll be no sad tomorrow. Don't you know that it's so? There's a place where I can go when I feel low, when I feel blue, and it's my mind, and there's no time when I'm alone. There's a
In 1963, Richard Langham was a fresh-faced Abbey Road engineer working on Please Please Me.
Before going on to the session, we were told, don't get too close to these people. You know, there's long hair, everything else, you know. So we just turned up, cold day, cold February day, set everything up roughly in the studio because they hadn't arrived. We had no instruments or anything, or amplifiers or speakers or anything. And then finally they arrived. And basically, I think more for all of us was let's get this up and let's get on the road. Because by this time, probably 10:30, 11, and the session was 10 till 1. So we should have started bang on 10. This is where the strict rules of the studio. All sessions were logged on recording sheets. If it was a false start, anything like that was all logged and everything was kept. All takes were timed. So that if George suddenly said, oh, that was good, we might put that in with number 4. How long was take 4? You could tell him whether the timings were the same and he'd know roughly that they would edit together.
And of course, you didn't have any idea when you wrote that record that it's now a historical document.
No, no one told me when I wrote those 50 years later they'd be examined.
Around 11:30, and with lunchtime looming, the Beatles turned next to I Saw Her Standing There. Written by Paul McCartney, for a long time it was known simply as 17.
1, 2, 3, 4!
The studio recording shows that it was sometimes a bit tense.
Too fast? No, yeah, wrong word. Yeah, but I mean, it's too fast anyway.
Today things are much more relaxed. About to perform the song are the Stereophonics. Kelly, this room, has it got a vibe to you?
Yeah, I mean, we recorded a couple of tracks here before.
Yeah.
A few years ago, and I mean, it's just one of those studios in the world, really. There's a few in LA and this one, which you can't help, you know, feeling the presence of the records that were made here, really.
You chose the track you're going to do, particularly, didn't you?
Yeah.
Why this track?
I remember on a cassette in my house when I was a kid with all the early Beatles stuff, like I Want to Hold Your Hand and all stuff like that, and this was one of the ones I remember as a kid, so... I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the album which a lot of people probably won't be as familiar with as they might think they would be, you know, on this record. So I think this suited the kind of stuff we were kind of doing as a cover band when we were kids and stuff like that, and this suited the sound of the band and the key and the voices and stuff. So it's just a simple kind of rock and roll song, really. Yeah.
Well, she was just 17. She once I saw her standing there.
By the time they'd finished I Saw Her Standing There, they'd only completed 2 songs, and it was lunchtime. And this being Britain in the 1960s, it was imperative, of course, to down tools and go to the pub for a pint. Nearly everyone did that anyway. When George Martin and his team returned, they had a surprise in store for them.
When we walked back in from our lunch, the boys were still playing. I think we actually stopped as we came in the door, because they were still playing. And this is something we hadn't seen before. And so, you know, we just said, well, we're back and we'll go up to the control rooms and get ready for you again.
So they'd rehearsed?
Yes, they'd played all through the lunchtime, you see.
Those rehearsals paid off. The next song, A Taste of Honey, was done in just 5 takes.
A taste of honey.
Joss Stone has accepted our challenge to rehearse and record it in an hour. The song, A Taste of Honey, had been a hit for American Lenny Welch, and since the middle of 1962, part of the Beatles' live set.
It's a strange song, isn't it, in some ways? What did you make of it?
I thought it's a strange song. I mean, it's a great song. I
Yeah.
I think it's actually really quite beautiful.
It is beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, it's got that lovely, you know, shape to it. But my mum, she said, "Oh, it sounds." She said it sounds like a Morris Dancers song.
I know what she means.
Yeah, with the bells and the whole. She's dancing around the room.
It's
I was
very
like, "Mum."
old-fashioned, isn't it?
Very
When I first
old-fashioned.
heard it when I was a kid, before you were born, horrifyingly, it's
The melody's really.
it's got a very
old-fashioned, yeah.
old. It's not like Greensleeves, but you know what I mean.
But
it
I
could
know
be
what
like
you
a
mean,
really
though.
old-fashioned tune. It's
Yes.
modal, is it? I believe is it that right?
I'll go with that.
Okay.
I've made, I don't know, 5 or 6 albums, but my favourite ones would be the ones that only took like a week, because it was really fun. I've never done one in a day,
Yeah.
but I'd love to try. You know, when you're in that, you can just,
Yeah.
it's great, and you capture that moment, and that's what they did. They caught like one moment in one time,
Yeah.
and it's got such a, it's great.
I dreamed of your first kiss, and then I feel upon my lips again a taste of honey, tasting much sweeter than wine. I will return, yes I will return. I come back for the honey and you. Yours was a kiss that warmed my heart, that lipstick, though we're far, far apart, a taste of honey, tasting much sweeter than wine. Do you? For the honey. You.
As I write this letter.
One of the LP's most famous songs has a secret behind it. The man who knows the story is the Beatles press officer Tony Barrow, who wrote the distinctive sleeve notes on the back that were pored over by 1 million teenagers.
I was trying to give the listener a companion piece, if you like, something that would complement what was going in through the ears with something that would go in through the eyes. It used to be a matter of listening and reading, and the two went together completely.
This brisk selling disc, you don't hear that much selling.
No, really, no.
I actually opened Brian Epstein's first London offices above a dirty bookshop in Monmouth Street, Covent Garden. For the first few weeks, I had the Beatles into the office for a few hours, most days, to do interviews. At the time that Please Please Me was coming out, John had been married for quite a few months, and in fact his son Julian was born around that time. And yet it was Brian Epstein's policy that artists of his should not have girlfriends, partners, whatever. If necessary, we were actually saying, no, John Lennon is not married. And I remember that during one of the interviews where that kind of question cropped up, John took a hold of my press office copy, turned it over, and beside his own name he hand wrote the word married, ! Which was his defiance, if you like, of our covering it up.
Come 3:30, it was the turn of Lennon's Do You Want to Know a Secret, about that double life as pop star and married man. Singing it in Studio 2, exactly 50 years on, is Ian Brodie of the Lightning Seeds.
You'll never know how much I really love you. You'll never know how much I really care. Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Closer, whisper in your ear, say the word you long to hear. I'm in love with you. Listen, do you want to know a secret? And do you promise not to tell? Closer, let me whisper in your ear. I'll say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you. I've known a secret for a week or two. Nobody knows, just we two. Listen, do you want to know a secret? And do you promise not to tell? Oh, closer, and let me whisper in your ear. I'll say the words you long to hear. I am in love with you.
The fact that the Beatles wrote so many of the songs on the album was revolutionary. Producer George Martin witnessed the Lennon-McCartney partnership up close.
Paul would help John musically because I think that he had a greater understanding of the theory of music. John tended to drive the car without a clutch, rather. He'd just go from one gear to another. on the other hand, again, John would have perhaps more of a mastery of imagery in words, and would make Paul work harder at his lyrics.
We very much emulated each other and mirrored each other, really. I mean, literally, with me being left-handed. It was like looking at yourself and looking at your own thoughts.
The world is treating me bad.
One of the songs written by Lennon and McCartney on Please Please Me, the track Misery, was just 16 days old, written for the singer headlining their tour, Helen Shapiro.
Paul, you've just come out with this bombshell. You saw the Beatles and Helen Shapiro in that tour in '63.
Yeah. I also saw the one with Roy Orbison and the one with Chris Montez and Tommy Rowe. So that was at Sheffield City Hall.
Well, no, I'm going to say the Beatles were my first gig as well. But I don't any remember. I think I was 2. My mum took me with a view to posterity. Do you remember anything about it?
Yeah, I vivid pictures of it. Yeah, but I mean, I would have been 12. I was born '51.
Right. Yeah.
So I would have been 12, and yeah, distinctly remember Ringo and his style. I'd never seen anybody play like that, and then hit the drums like.
And screaming, presumably, wasn't it?
There was a lot of screaming, yeah. But then I left, and it was okay. But
Shapiro's gig is a significance because they wrote Misery, the song you're going to do. They wrote Misery for Helen Shapiro. She never ended up doing it, though.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah,
I had no idea about that.
Were they the thing for you, then? Were they the thing that made you want to be a musician?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was already playing in a little band. I played drums to start with.
Wow.
But I was into bands like The Shadows and that. And then when the whole Liverpool thing kicked off, that was it. I was gone. That was it. I didn't want to do anything else. And I've still got the wallpaper to prove it.
Paul, as you can hear, we're here in the studio. We're getting ready to do it, so I'll leave Paul to do Misery.
Thanks a lot.
The world is treating me bad. Misery. I'm the kind of guy who never used to cry. The world is treating me bad. Misery. I've lost her now for sure. I won't see her no more. It's gonna be a drag. Misery. I remember all the little things we've done. Can't she see she'll always be the only one, only one? Send her back to me, 'cause everyone can see without her I will be in misery. I remember all the little things we've done. She'll remember and she'll miss her only one, only one. Send her back to me, 'cause everyone can see without her I will be in misery. Oh yeah. Send her back to me, 'cause everyone can see without her I will be in misery. In misery, baby. Misery, yeah, yeah, yeah. Misery. Oh, misery, baby.
The groundbreaking music of the Please Please Me album was wrapped up in a striking cover, with its famous stairwell picture taken by the legendary Angus MacBain. Eamon McCabe, one of Britain's finest contemporary photographers, has a theory as to why it works so well.
This picture was taken within seconds. You know, Angus MacBain, who had been working in his studio with the boys and got some reasonable pictures, but they weren't happy with them. So there was another meeting planned at the headquarters in Manchester Square of EMI. When Angus comes in, and he's just got his camera with him, a portrait camera, and someone just yells at him, and you know, from upstairs. And he looked up and he saw his picture, and he just said, "Look, are they here?" He said, "Yes, they just arrived. Get them out." And he's got the wrong lens on. He's only got a portrait lens, which is quite a long lens to do one person. So he's only got that lens. He gets the four of them probably as far away as he can in order to get all four in. And then he has to lie on his back. Here's a 64-year-old man lying on his back, you know, probably looking very, very smart in his cravat and his smart shoes and coat. Four blokes taking the mick out of him, and he's got to take a picture. But he got it. When he took about 4 or 5 frames, he said, "That'll do."
It's such a moment in time as well, because if you look, Ringo's not got the mop-top haircut yet.
That's
He's
right.
still got the teddy boy haircut.
Yeah,
And that's gone in a few weeks.
He just arrived, hasn't he? The picture was just taken so quickly and without planning, because the great thing with Angus was he was a great ideas man. He was the kind of Man Ray of British photography. He would think, he came out of the theatre, everything was about lighting and concepts, and very controlled, manufactured pictures.
Here's some of the outtakes, as it were, of the day. Does this tell us anything about the session?
Well, it tells you about a photographer working a room, working a space. Like that doesn't work.
That
you know?
doesn't work. And that doesn't work.
That
That's
doesn't work,
true.
no.
That's fantastic.
And then, to be fair to the creatives, you know, the yellow works within the space, the red, all these things are so important in cover art. In many ways, he's the wrong guy to do it, because the pictures, you know, his main work is very surreal, very black and white, very intense, and created. Nearly every image is created in his head. You know, great surreal photographer, great star of British photography, and comes up really with a newspaper shot done on the hoof, lying on his back.
Yeah.
But I love that line, "That'll do," and he decides that'll do.
At this point, 50 years ago, the Beatles were wrestling with a McCartney composition called Hold Me Tight. But after 13 takes, they still weren't happy with it, so they decided to shelve it. Instead, we're going to hear the title track of the album that's already given them their first #1, Please Please Me.
Performing it are Chris Difford and Glenn Tilbrook from Squeeze, accompanied on harmonica by blues legend Paul Jones.
Last night I said these words to my girl. I know you never even tried, girl. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Please, 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 oh yeah, like I please you. You don't need me to show the way you love. Why do I always have to say love? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Please, 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 oh yeah, like I please you. I don't wanna start complaining, but you know there's always rain in my heart. I do all the pleasing with you, it's so hard to reason with you. Oh yeah, why do you make me blue? Last night I said these words to my girl. I know you never even tried, girl. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Please, 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 oh yeah, like I please you. Please me, oh yeah, like I please you. Please me, oh yeah, like I please you.
Glenn Tilbrook, Chris Difford and Paul Jones have just come hot foot from Studio 2 and a performance of Please Please Me. Paul, it's got a famous harmonica line on it. You played the harmonica there on that
Yes.
pen. Was he any good at the harmonica, John Lennon?
John was very
Was he?
good. We were just talking about it.
Right.
Do you remember Hey Baby?
No, I don't.
Hey,
no.
great record.
My girl. Yeah, that one.
Brooke Chanel, fine singer, and that was a terrific song. But the thing that really got me with it was the harmonica playing, and that was a chap called Delbert McClinton.
Right, okay.
And it is now said that Delbert actually taught John Lennon.
Wow.
Which would explain everything, because John was actually a much better harmonica player than most of the people who were sort of quite highly regarded in those days.
And what about the idea of them doing it in a day? I mean, how does that seem to you now as musicians? Does that seem extraordinary?
Well, I think it's probably the way to go now, isn't it? I mean, there's not a lot of money around in the music industry anymore to come into a studio. As long as you're equipped with the songs and the knowledge of how you're going to record them. Like Glenn was saying, you know, they had rehearsed and they knew exactly what they were going to do.
It's
exactly the way to do it.
It's about capturing the moment. I think that's completely back again now, capturing the moment.
It's 7 p.m. at Abbey Road, and it was at this point in 1963 that the Beatles turned their attention to a song that was a particular favourite of John Lennon's. Someone else who loves it is Mick Hucknall.
Mick, the song you're going to do, Anna, reflects how much the Beatles were into black music and R&B music, which of course will strike a big chord with you, won't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, when I first heard them, it was just about the fact that they came from the northwest of England, to be honest. I didn't know anything about R&B when I was 4 years old, which is when I got my first plastic Beatles guitar when I was 5. So that would be 1965.
Wow.
And I did the first gig I ever did, I was 6, and I sang I Wanna Hold Your Hand.
Did you?
Yeah. In a pair of Austrian lederhosen, but we won't go into that.
No.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of people would like to know more about it. Was this a professional engagement?
Well, you know, in the 60s, going on holiday like that for working class people was a completely the most glamorous thing you could imagine.
Was it like a talent show?
Yeah, and one of the ladies who looked after me, she went on holiday and she brought me back a pair of Austrian lederhosen, and so I wore them for the wedding. Yeah. And then I got up with a grown-up band and sang that song. Because they were a bit older than me, so they were teenagers, and they had the first 2 Beatles albums, and they, you know, I was around when they were playing it to me, so they're a major part of my upbringing.
And you're a Manc, obviously, and that's my part of the world as well. But I think there was no feeling that the Beatles belonged to Liverpool, were they? They belonged kind of to us as well, didn't they?
Well, I always say that, you know, before the Beatles, the northwest of England was famous for George Formby and Gracie Fields, and we weren't expected to achieve very much, really. And what they gave us was that we have a future. We can do something, and they were. I don't think, you know. Of course, the Beatles belonged to Liverpool, but they were ours too. Yeah. They were the northwest, and you know, you can't begin to describe the influence that they had on people of that generation. The influence on me was huge.
And the song you're going to sing, Anna, is. I mean, as a singer, does it? You know, what kind of song is it to tackle?
I love the bridge. The all of my life I've been searching. That note, just getting that note is just a great thrill, you know. And Arthur Alexander, who sang the original, John's version is very faithful to the original Arthur Alexander version. So when I'm singing it, I'm sort of thinking, well, look, if John can be faithful to it, then I'll be faithful to John, who was faithful to Arthur. So we'll just kind of like go that way, keep it simple.
And I always love about the lyric, I don't know if you agree with me, I think it's one of those lyrics, I think it sounds like he's saying, no, if he loves you more than me, you should go to him, but really he's going, but come on, having said that, who are you going to pick?
Well, what I love is a girl before you go and you give back your ring to me.
Well, he does want the ring back.
I'm having that ring.
I'm having the ring back. Probably because it's not paid for yet.
It'll be worth a few quid.
You come and ask me, girl, to set you free, girl. You say he loves you more than me, so I will set you free. Go with him. Go with him. Anna, girl, before you go now, I want you to know now that I still love you so, but if he loves you more, go with him.
For some performers, the Beatles aren't just part of pop history. They were mates they shared a stage with. We've assembled 5 musicians from 4 different bands who also learned their trade at the Cavern in Liverpool.
When the record came out, those first couple of Beatles, well, the first Beatles album certainly, I mean, what was the feeling amongst other bands in Liverpool? Was it great, one of us is making it and they still put the China spotlight on, or was there a bit of, you got there first sort of thing?
No, I think we knew. I mean, they had something.
Yeah.
I mean, they were good looking, they're talented, and what else can you say? You know, my
there was
band
something about
wasn't-
the blend of their voices
they-
as well.
absolutely.
Other bands had harmonies, but their voices seemed to blend together in a very special way.
Tell us a bit about Boys, the song. I mean, what kind of song, how did you approach it? What kind of song is it, really?
Well, it was a B-side on my favourite record, actually, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? And it was always a B-side until all the Liverpool bands started doing it, really.
Yeah, we actually liked that they gave us that song, not because we loved it that much, it's because the association with the Shirelles. Because we, as the Mersey Beats, our first record was a Shirelles song. It's Love That Really Counts.
Yeah.
And we always mad on the Shirelles. They were wonderful.
What was it with Mersey bands and the Shirelles? You did it, the Beatles did. 2 Shirelles covers on the first album.
They were good-looking girls.
Didn't they?
Loads of bands did it. You know, the sets were almost the same, you know, you get, you know, they'd all be playing the same tunes, you know.
Was that because you all had the same tunes in your collection, or was it because you'd go and see each other and go, that's a good one, we'll do that?
Yeah, well,
probably.
They used
A
to
mixture of both.
They
Mixture of
used to come and
both.
see my band and then they'd copy it.
The way we found these songs, all the bands did from Liverpool, we'd all do like a lunchtime session at the Cavern.
Yeah.
And we'd go around the corner to Nems.
Yeah.
And we'd go in a booth and we'd listen to all the imports that had come in.
Yeah.
And we'd all rush back to try and learn them. And
Yeah, actually, you're
whoever
right.
learned them first, people say, oh no, that's their song.
I've been told when a boy kisses a girl, she takes a trip around the world, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. She says you do. My girl says when I kiss her lips, she takes a trip through her fingertips, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. She said you do. Well, I'm talking about boys. Don't you know I mean boys? Well, I'm talking about boys. Don't you know I mean boys? Well, I'm talking about boys. What about a joy?
by 9 o'clock, the Beatles were really having to speed up to get the album done in a day. They stayed in a girl group vibe with a version of Chains, a 1962 hit for the Cookies. Performing live on Radio 2 with their version is I Am Clute. At 9:30, the Beatles started rehearsing the second Shirelles number that day, the Burt Bacharach song, Baby It's You. Half a century later, Graham Coxon from Blur is doing the same thing. Meanwhile, down the corridor, Joe Wiley is live on Radio 2, talking on the phone to Mr. Bacharach himself.
Hi, how are you?
Happy celebration.
Oh, we are. It is a celebration. Thank you. That was absolutely spot on. When were you first aware of the Beatles covering Baby It's You? Do you remember how you felt about their interpretation of it?
You know, I went a while knowing that they had recorded it. You know, it can be funny like that in the sense that I'm almost afraid to listen to it because maybe it won't come up to what I'm hoping for. And when I did get to it, there was nothing to be concerned about, nothing to worry about. It was an absolute joy.
Baby It's You, Burt Bacharach. That's a big ask, isn't it? Burt Bacharach song performed by the Shirelles, covered by the Beatles.
It is, actually. I didn't realise it was going to be. I just thought, well, that's a little-known Beatles track off there, but I'll research it, and I'll have a little look, and I listened to the Shirelles one, very nice, and then I was like, Burt Bacharach, and I was like, oh, crikey.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, being a creaky voice sort of indie boy, I suppose, the idea of what's pretty much a soul song, a girl group soul song thing, is kind of, you know, scary.
Did you have the Beatles in common in Blur? Were you all Beatles fans?
Not really. No. I think I seem to be the fanatic.
You were the fanatic, weren't you?
Yeah. The others don't seem to really mention the Beatles at all. I never really thought about that, actually. But I do think people who don't like the Beatles are very weird.
I do too. I think they're doing it for affectation, don't you?
Yeah,
If you get people say I don't like the Beatles, I think you're just saying that because you think it's going to impress me, and it's not.
No.
Yeah. I think if you like, it's like if you like literature and you say I don't like Shakespeare, well, that's idiotic, isn't it? And if you say I like music, pop music, you don't like the Beatles.
Idiotic. It is idiotic.
There you go.
But you know,
well, that's not
there are some people that just don't.
It's not the way you smile that touched my heart. It's not the way you kiss that tears me apart. Many nights go by. I sit alone at home and cry over you. What can I do? I can't help myself. 'Cause baby, it's you. Baby, it's you. Should hear what they say about you. Cheats. They say you've never, ever been true. It doesn't matter what they say. I know I'm gonna love you any old way. What can I do when it's true? Don't want nobody, 'cause baby, it's you. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's you. Don't leave me all alone. Come on home.
At 10 o'clock on the 11th of February 1963, the Beatles had ground to a halt. With 10 songs recorded, they needed one more. Someone who was there and who would accidentally shape music history was a young journalist from the NME.
Tell me about that day 50 years ago, Alan.
It was absolute magic. I arrived at the studio quite late in the day. I just caught it in time. They were about to do the last track. And but they decided to have a break, and I think George Martin suggested, hey guys, why don't you just go and have a cup of tea? How rock and roll can you be? And so we went up to this tiny room that doesn't exist anymore, very, very tiny, about a couple of square yards, and we just crowded in there. And I think it was George said, what are we going to do for the last number? I said, I thought I heard you do La Bamba a few weeks ago on the radio, probably said the wireless. And Paul McCartney looked a bit blank and said, you mean Twist and Shout? And I said, yeah, Twist and Shout. So they looked at each other and said, should we do Twist and Shout? And it was a glorious moment. They went down into the studio.
The last song was a song called Twist and Shout, which nearly killed me.
And stripped to the waist.
Yes, I think taking his shirt off. Certainly I opened it anyway. I've never wanted to show a dance movement on, but I was actually jumping up and down.
And it's an abiding memory. And, of course, it did quite well.
Yeah, it did all right.
Yeah.
Just like I knew you would, like I knew you would. But take it up, baby.
Just coming to 10:30 on February 11th, 1963, and the end of a historic 12 hours and the most productive 585 minutes in the history of music. We hope we've captured some of the spirit of that day, and we're going to leave you with the song that finally did for John Lennon's voice and did wonders for local sales of cough tablets.
With the task of bringing the day to a close, one of Britain's finest voices, Miss Beverly Knight.
1, 2, 3.